So the Houston Rockets were coming off of a massive win over the Bucks, a building in which they hadn't won in a long time, and they responded with another dominant win, which has been a common theme this season, 135 to 112. The Rockets had to have had 100 going into the fourth quarter. That's what it felt like. I just got done watching the game. This offense is on a different level. It reminds me of the old days with James Harden and Chris Paul. The efficiency, it's so methodical. The ball moves freely, and of course, Kevin Durant has certainly helped. He got off to a very quick start in this game, just couldn't miss. The Rockets get to the free throw line. They're shooting the three ball very well. They don't take many of them, but when you get a guy like Tari Eason off the bench who knocks down 4 of 6, you're in for a very good treat. And then Reed Shepard as well came off of the bench and ended up knocking down 5 of 8. We're going to do a Reed film breakdown shortly after this. But in terms of this game overall, I thought the first half was amazing, probably the best of the season, but then the second half was definitely not the same. What I've started to notice about basketball, considering how much I watch it, is that no lead is ever safe. The Rockets can have the best first half of the season and they can still lose. It could still be a close game. And it took basically the last 6, 7 minutes of this game for the Rockets to get going, to start to push the pedal again for them to win this. And that's absolutely fine. It's a young Wizards team that came into this 1-10. They had lost, I think, 7 in a row, they said on the broadcast. And they've got a lot of young players I like, man. I don't want to say that this reminds me necessarily of the Rockets a couple of years ago, but it's very similar. It's a bad team, but there's some special pieces, right? There's some star potentials. Like Alex Sarr, I thought had a good game. I also really like Keyshawn George. Trey Johnson knocked down 4 of 7 threes. So this team has talent, and the Rockets got a glimpse of it, but they just dominated them, man. It was a JV team against a varsity team. The two most impressive things about this game to me were actually players off of the bench, which I alluded to a little bit ago, and that is Tari Eason and Reed Shepard. I'll actually throw in three. Another bench piece, and Steven Adams. I thought the three of those guys played exceptionally well. So Tari Eason ended up knocking down 4 threes. He was just one shy of his career high as a Rocket, 7 of 12 from the field. Whenever he comes in, the Rockets, they end up pushing the pace, and they're just way more tenacious defensively. And I just think the Rockets are a better team when Tari's on the floor. Now, I get why he doesn't start. Obviously, Jabari Smith Jr. provides a lot that Tari can't, especially just with his length and size and ability to guard multiple positions. Not that Tari can't do that necessarily, but Jabari, again, you kind of need him next to Şengün. The Rockets, they like that a lot. But just when Tari comes into the game, the Rockets play fast and they just get easy looks. And the fact he's shooting over 50% from three this season, I mean, he's just an absolute weapon. I don't really blame him necessarily for not coming to a deal with the Rockets on an extension, because a team would definitely be willing to pay him a lot of money. Tari on the season is shooting 51.7% from the field, but even more impressively, 53.1% from three, which means he is shooting the three ball better than he is from just everywhere on the floor. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And we know what he brings with his defense. And you just take a look at Tari, and he gives you 20 against the Wizards, 16 against the Grizzlies, 11 against the Spurs, 15 against the Mavs. So he's constantly giving you double digits. And last season, the Rockets, I think they had 10 guys, or close to 10 guys, that had 10 plus points or more. And think about how that adds up. How do you beat the Rockets when that many players are contributing? And now you add in Kevin Durant, who on the season, of course, is consistently giving the Rockets 25 a night on elite level efficiency. I mean, this is the best offense of basketball, and it's not even close. And they also rebound exceptionally well. Steven Adams, that brings me into my next point, is he comes into the game. So Adams played in 17 minutes. He was a plus 21, which is the most important stat. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 5 points. I mean, that's just a typical Adams line. And 5 offensive rebounds, more offensive than defensive. Every time the ball goes off of the rim, it just gravitates to Adams. He also does a very good job boxing out. I mean, I'm 6'2", 180, so I'm skinny as hell. And I box out when I play basketball, and that's why I really appreciate the way Steven Adams plays, because it feels like a lot of guys just don't do that. Like, we saw Cam Whitmore come flying in for an offensive rebound late in this game. It just plays like that really piss a coach off. I mean, I coached high school ball for a couple of years, so that's an immediate timeout if that happens. And Adams just doesn't let those types of things happen, so I definitely appreciate him for that. It's very similar to, honestly, Tari. I just think the Rockets are better when Adams comes in. I think the Rockets are at their best when they play Şengün and Adams. I also like when Tari's out there. Now, if we're going off of just pure ceiling, then obviously not. But in terms of just the floor of who I feel the safest with, I think those two guys together is very dangerous. And then you throw in Reed Shepard. The Rockets have 3 pieces off of their bench that they just resemble a championship level team. Everyone wants to talk about the starters, but do starters really win championships, or is it the bench? I mean, yeah, Shea, superstar, right? Jokic, superstar champions, finals MVPs. But when we talk about teams and how they get to where they are, it's the bench and the depth and the versatility. And that's exactly what I've gained this season from the Rockets is they're just completely better in that aspect. They weren't bad necessarily. They weren't a team that lacked depth or anything, but they're just on a different level this year. And really, the Rockets remind me a lot of OKC, man. I mean, these two teams went into double OT. The Thunder, I think the Thunder 12-1, I want to say. So they are cruising. And the Rockets, they're built to beat OKC, man. And considering the fact that they were pretty much terrible offensively against the Thunder, and it was like KD adding in new pieces and things like that. Reed obviously wasn't playing like he is now. I can't talk about Reed because he's the whole next video, so that's why I'm not talking about it. If you guys are wondering. But Clint Capella was a good addition. JD Davison, he hasn't really played, like he's not a part of the rotation unless it's a blowout. But I do think within the next couple of years he is going to play. And we know he could shoot the lights out of the ball. So there's a ton of pieces to watch out for. I mean, you just never know. Like even Jeff Green came in and played 3 minutes and he knocked down a 3-pointer. He grabbed a rebound, and like the Rockets, they've got 15 guys they feel comfortable playing if necessary, and it's just very rare in today's basketball for teams to be able to claim to do that, because most teams are playing 8 to 9 guys, maybe 10 guys, and the Rockets they comfortably can go beyond that, and it's gonna add up in the long term, and they're blowing teams out. Like any team that isn't even like you look at the Wizards and you look at the Rockets' past couple of games. The Mavs game was actually competitive, surprisingly, but the Celtics game, the Raptors game, Nets game, like these games weren't even competitive at all, and it's why the Rockets are number one in offense. Yeah, the Spurs game frustrating. The Bucks game for a lot of that was frustrating, but the comeback was freaking worth the wait, man. It was so epic. The Rockets have a lot of work to do, but again, guys, this is a 7-3. I'm not trying to overreact too much because I tend to do that like right after I see a game, which is why sometimes I like to win a day to make it. The Rockets did look visually frustrated in this game in the second half. Things weren't really going their way. There was some couple of blatant missed calls, which I don't blame them, but like Jabari, walking to a ref and saying that's an F and foul, like that just can't happen. So those things need to get cleaned up, and that's where I think Kevin Durant, will step in and just make sure that it's under control. Because a lot of things aren't going to go the Rockets' way. Like if you've been a fan of this team for as long as me, which hasn't been that long, I've been a Rockets fan for 13 years, which I guess that's kind of crazy. Some of you guys might not even be 13 years old. It's been kind of like a good amount. You just know that things never go this team's way, so they have to be able to overcome that and be able to fight through the obstacles. And I think that's why Kevin Durant's so important to this team. And you talk about when the game's on the line, Kevin Durant is at his best. And the Bucks game, for example, is even you go back to the Mavs game. Yeah, it was the Mavs game. Yeah, it was the Mavs game. Durant's shot wasn't exactly on, but he knocked down back-to-back threes. And that's when the Rockets are just in a massive advantage. You look at those Warriors runs, Durant, 2 finals MVP. So I just can't wait to see what this team ends up becoming. And again, when we talk about Reed, I could definitely put my thoughts together a little bit better, because like without talking about Reed, it just doesn't feel right. So make sure you guys go and watch the video, of course, right after this. And yeah, Reed Shepherd film breakdown. Peace, guys. Thank you so much. As always, I'm out.